12, 14 years ago, but I've never found. Every time we try to brainstorm with people about this poem, we never come to a name.
Okay.
We never come to a title. But I know that one day, someday, we will. So here goes. Slow me down, universe. Ease the pounding of my heart by quieting my mind. Give me amid the confusion of my days the stream of rolling hills. Break the tension in my nerves with soothing streams. Help me know the power of sleep. Teach me the art of 1 minute holidays. To look at a blossoming flower, to appreciate nature, or a face of a child, or even simply a chat with a friend.
I love that one. I remember hearing that first at the Wake Up Your Artist retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I first. That's when you had that poem.
Yeah. When did you write that, Joseph?
I wrote that poem about 15 years ago. 16 years ago. However, I started writing it. The way I started writing it was there was a lot of not upheaval in my life. There was a lot of change at the time. I'd lost my brother, and I was going to leave Uganda. I was preparing to leave Uganda to go abroad, and I was confused with the challenges that posed. And I asked God, a power beyond me, to slow me down. And that is how it started coming from and through me. And I completed it just after I'd gotten to England. That was about 2003, 2004. That is when I actually finished and said that this is where it stops. But I'd started putting it together maybe 2 years before then. The reason it took me long, and whenever I would get an answer, I would leave the poem. Whenever I would get something to go on to as a communication that came through my silence, through quieting myself, I would stop. I would say, okay, let me do what has come. Let me do what has the inspiration. For instance, at the time, I was looking for a sponsor. And then there was a friend of mine who suggested to me to go to the headmaster of the school in which I had gone to. And that spark said, oh, this is the right place. I went, and he led me to a better person. And like that, and whenever I would have something that I would go on to, I would stop writing the poem and carry on with the activity that it has inspired.
There's like a sense of intuition that can come sometimes when we slow down.
And so that is how it evolved.
I asked you a question about an hour ago, which was how to describe you in the program, and you just said the word eclectic, and I find, because I know you as someone who is a writer and a thinker, and I think someone who's just very open to experience, maybe like a pilgrim, you know. In fact, you're in my phone as Joseph Pilgrim because we took that pilgrimage together, you know. And actually, that works very well to describe you. But
Oh well, I like the word pilgrim. It is really an open-ended word. A pilgrim never stops moving. A pilgrim never stops learning. A pilgrim never stops doing. And I say eclectic because I get a life force when someone suggests something that excites me, even if I've not done it in a while, or I've longed to do it and they appear and the person appears. For instance, I've told you the story of learning how to play the guitar. I've been trying for the longest time.
Yeah.
And I've gotten chunks of people who have taught me bits here and there. And whenever I'm in that mode, I find someone who is interested in teaching me. I am so much into that.
Yeah.
And when I start writing something, I get into it. The information keeps coming out until it stops. And once it stops, I stop.
Yeah.
So be it a poem, be it a writer, be it prose, anything.
Yeah.
I enjoy music. I enjoy art. That's why I use the word eclectic. I don't think that we have one, not calling. Calling is rather an ambiguous word. I don't think we have any one single direction in life that if you are, for instance, I'm a driver, I'm a builder, I enjoy nature. At the same and because I enjoy nature, I've gone and volunteered in a community garden, and I enjoyed that.
Yes.
I do enjoy doing that, but I can also do all the other things that come to me, and I enjoy them. For me, the benefit of being alive is experiencing.
Yeah.
I don't have to be something for me I don't have to be that one thing that, this one is a writer or a poet. That introduction sort of narrows you down to one specific lens in which you're seen. So if someone was to say, oh, he's a poet, and all of a sudden you start talking about science, but he's a poet. How can he not? It sort of takes away from the other experiences of life and narrows this person to that profession or that activity.
Yeah.
So I would rather we use something that opens me up to life, opens me up to experience, opens me up to a journey. And it's the same thing like in the book Becoming by Michelle Obama. She says she doesn't want to ask a child, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because it is so misleading and it narrows down.
Yeah.
As much as we experience life, a child is going to go with all these experiences, and if at a tender age they are told you will be a good scientist or you will be a good doctor, they take away all the other things they could be for themselves, and they actually become very good doctors or very good professionals in whatever they have been streamed. But it takes away from anything else you could have developed at the same time. That is why a good coach never tells the person they're training, I want you to focus on this. They give them this winding palette. You want to try that? Okay, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, opens up and the potential of being what you can eventually be in anything. It doesn't narrow you down. It doesn't bring you into this one thing from which you then start trying to do everything else. We have a mutual friend, and once she said that I don't see myself as creative,
Right.
she took up a violin.
Yes.
And you see, that is a sign that at whatever point in time, that was there. It was always there, and that is whenever, if that violin had come at an earlier stage, it would have happened. It has come at this stage, and it is happening. So whenever something comes, it is okay to branch out.
Yes, to bring that in. I wanted to ask you, I was really interested to talk to you about spiritual practice, because I remember we've spent some time together traveling and also being on retreats, and I know that you have like a kind of a schedule, or like a daily routine of spiritual practice. I also know that you've been on quite a journey in your life, and I think I was interested how spiritual practice through that journey of being here and coming to England and being here, how that's given you some kind of foundation of income.
Oh, well, I know that my spiritual practice has helped me so much. I cannot even put any value to my spiritual practice, because it is me. Every time I've got challenged, I've added something on my spiritual practice that came within the challenge. For example, so 10 years ago, I would just meditate exactly for 10 to 15 minutes, and I would read something from a spiritual book for 5 minutes or 10, and I would leave, and I would go, and that would be my meditation. I would go about my day. Eventually, I got a challenge of not having work, and I realized that I can add on to my practice. I can put on something else. So I picked up a Course in Miracles.
Ah, yes.
And I've been a student of the Course in Miracles since that time when I was introduced to it.
For people that don't know, that means that you have a reading every day.
You have a reading every day, and you sort of think about the reading and try to. It gives you some in the workbook. It gives you something to do with the reading. It may tell you to repeat it 5 times a day, or it may tell you to repeat it the first in the morning and in the evening. There are very many activities you do with the reading, or it brings in something for you for each day. However, the reason I added on to the first 10 minutes of meditation and a reading, I added on the Course in Miracles workbook. It's because at the time I wanted something to do during the day as I wait for an opportunity to start work.
Okay.
So I looked at it as a schedule. Every time I would even put in my phone what activities I would do in my phone, what activities the day in the workbook would have me do. And I realized that actually within less than a month I'd got a job. So I had to choose between cutting back on my practice or keeping it going and creating time for it. So I decided to create time for it, and I added it onto my practice, of course. And then at another challenging time in my life, that went on for a while, but another challenging time in my life, I had to go through legalizing my stay in the UK, and that really was quite challenging. Quite very challenging.
Can you say a bit about that?
Of course, as the system has evolved, we would just present our our passports and our whatever documents we have to the Home Office, and then they would extend our stay or visa, whatever you were given. However, the regulations, the law didn't change, but the way the Home Office was working changed, and I was caught out by these changes because those changes were not officially communicated to. They were just you were just caught out. You were just caught out just in case you were found, or just in case something, or you had to meet any government official. That is when you would be. So I had to go through that. I was put in detention for 3 months. I was eventually I got out. The government takes us to court, of course, which is funny, but well. Eventually I won my case, and I was given leave to remain in the country. But during that time it was very challenging, and
those 3 months.
Even the time after, because the whole process
it sounds very emotionally draining.
The whole process from the time I was stopped and taken in to be to detention up to the time I got my work permit. Over 3 years elapsed, almost 3.5 years. It took me almost 3.5 years, and a lot of money from a lot of people around me who helped me. Took me 3 years. Oh, there's a robin.
For people that don't, hello Robin. For people that don't know, that process of seeking asylum means that you're kind of bound in a way to report, and you're not allowed to work.
You're not allowed to work. You have to report to the police or to a government body. Wherever you are, you have. And I was given to report every week, every Thursday.
Wow.
However, once that time started, there were very many opportunities that came from that time. One, I slowed down even more because because I'd been working for a long time. When I went into detention, I felt sleep. I felt my body sleeping.
So you found rest in that situation?
I found a lot of rest. My sister.
We should say at this point that it's you had like a room to yourself, or you were in.
We had. It's not.
It's not a hotel, is it?
No. You're 2 or 3 people in a room, and it wasn't a good experience in that in the living condition.
But you managed to find something within that.
But within that, there's certain very outstanding realizations I got. Like, I appreciated, because I'd been working 12, 14-hour days. Monday through to Saturday.
Right.
I realized how hard and how much my body had been working for me. Because I slept and I woke up and slept some more. It was like I went back to sleep comfortably without hurrying up to do anything.
Next thing,
But of course, in the process, there were other opportunities. But that challenge brought another aspect to my meditation. I started reading a verse, actually, 1 or 2 verses in the Bible. I would just read a verse or two a day. And that went on for a while, and it didn't work so well for me, but it brought me to reading at least a verse. And that was added onto my routine.
Yes, indeed.
Now I read a chapter. For instance, I read a gospel chapter. For instance, like I noticed, I read somewhere that the Gospel of Luke has 24 chapters.
Yeah.
And if I read one chapter every day up to the 24th, the 24th, then I would be ready for the birth of Jesus after reading the whole chapter.
Right,
So
in a month,
that really captivated me. So
nice.
I have been trying to find ways to read a section of either the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, or any spiritual book up to a given time. A given time when I could either change or do something else. But I would read a chunk, not a verse, but something substantial reading. And then that, because I was in detention, I started. I was journaling before, but I wasn't journaling every day. But the time in detention made me stick to journaling every day.
Okay. So you're writing every day.
Now I would write something every day. I would write. I had three things in my journal: something to be grateful for, something to look forward to, and something to sort of wonder about, ask myself.
You'd ask yourself those questions every
day.
Yeah.
Up to now. Now that is now part of my meditation, because every day I ask myself, what am I grateful for when I wake up? And that usually is answering the day before.
Okay,
what happened in the day? What I'm grateful for that happened in that day yesterday.
Yeah. What happened yesterday? Can you
yesterday one of the things I'm grateful for. I could even read from my phone. It will.
Right.
What I'm grateful for, like yesterday. I'm going to read what I'm grateful for yesterday. Yesterday was such an amazing day because I got a message from you, from you, and it was
the poster of the festival.
And the poster from the festival. So here goes. What are you grateful for today? I'm grateful for Margaret to get work. She got to go to work. That is my sister.
Great.
I'm grateful for the call from Joe about the winter festival. This really excited me when I found out that my name was on the poster. See it there.
Great.
I'm grateful for the calm that brought me and a restful night. That was my journal yesterday. So every single day, I have something I write in my journal. That is that gratitude. I also write something that I'm looking forward to. Like now, I'm looking forward to meeting you. But I'm also looking forward to going for my assessment.
You have that today.
Later today. So now, whatever happens in this day will create my gratitude for tomorrow.
Great.
And then what I ponder, what I think about, what I wonder will be from the readings I've made, which is also in my journal. I will write something. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I write so little. I just say, I don't know how much I took in, but I just have to write that I read this. Other times, like yesterday, I wrote something out, and I wish I could read it for you, but I will keep on refining it with time.
You could record that for us.
I could keep on refining it with time, but I wrote something, and it was so exciting.
I love the idea of how these days it seems like there's an openness to. You mentioned a few different faiths there, different teachers, and how there's a contribution. If you stand with an open heart in the middle of all this wisdom, you can then kind of, as you say, create a kind of practice for yourself on a daily basis that nourishes you, and it can change, and within that, as you feel you're growing, which feels really important.
Yes, and then also the fact that a practice, for me, a practice has to grow, because it is a practice. If for instance, let's take an athlete. When they perfect something, they do it out of practice. But the moment they get to the best they can achieve, they have to try something else to improve this. So you have to. I would submit that if a practice is not evolving, it loses the word practice. It is not a practice anymore. Because if it is stagnant, what I did 10 years ago is still what I'm doing, and there is nothing to added to it, changing. It's like you're saying this athlete, once he got the gold medal, they didn't. After that, they gave up. So it didn't. The practice is continuing and trying to find other ways of doing the same thing, i.e., living life. So, if my practice is not evolving, I have to shake it up, because the word practice comes from a generation, a movement. It cannot be held in situ or or stable. It has to evolve. It has to go through the changes you're going through as a person, the changes you're going through as the world. Because, for instance, when I was in detention, I had to go and ask someone to give me a piece of paper to write. As opposed to when I can go and buy the book myself. So what I did, I told my first visitor, who happened to be my sister, to bring me a book. And that book was a puzzle book, Sudoku puzzle book. And because in detention you are not allowed to have pieces of paper which wasn't given by the institution. But you are allowed to get a book or something you could do. So I requested for that Sudoku puzzle, and it is that Sudoku puzzle book in which whenever I would do a puzzle, I got the 700 puzzles. So every day I would journal on the puzzle. After filling it, I would journal. And I still have the book, the puzzle book.
So they didn't allow to have blank paper?
No, apart from the one that is given to you. And once you've used it, you had to give it back. There was something about misusing stuff, or people doing trying to, like, someone can decide to start a fire with paper, there were restrictions. So I could appreciate why, but of course on the other hand they allowed me to get a book. So you see that it is there is no standard. It's just what we were thought to be able to use, because someone can use anything. In one of my experiences in detention, I saw someone cutting themselves. It was so
with paper.
No, with a knife. And it is something and this guy was cutting themselves.
They kind of reached a level of desperation.
Yeah, they have reached
to self-harm.
Self-harm. I had never seen it before. So it was so unimaginable in my life that you can dislike yourself so much so that you're willing to just cut yourself. I don't know how I could have got. Of course, he got help, and he was released actually the following day, because self-harm wasn't something the institution was meant to handle. So they had to take him to the infirmary and they released him. But someone to get to that in order to get their freedom.
Can I ask, what do you think of the immigration system as it currently is?
Of course, it is not. It is redundant, unnecessary, but mainly it is not responding to the time.
Right.
The reason why people move is the same reason why people moved. It has never been. Life is a continuum. You cannot suggest that that because this is what we did when we first came onto this island, that is what we'll do always. Stuff changes. There was no construction, now there is. There was no roads, now there are. Life changes. So any institution has to change and respond to the times, to its time.
And if it doesn't, then
if it doesn't, becomes obsolete, or it becomes dictatorial, and it loses its purpose. It loses its way. That's why the immigration system in England is the way it is. It is not fit for purpose because it doesn't change with the time. Because now, of course, now we are in the wave of the EU and what happens before and after. There will still be reason for people to move, whether they are in the countries that were where England belonged or not. People move from.
Always moved, haven't they?
Yeah. Some people feel like that is something they have to do. It is like an explorer.
Yes.
Back in my country of origin, Uganda, we studied the first explorers who came to Uganda speak, who they said first discovered the River Nile. But we were there, we knew it is there, we took him there. Our people took him there, so he didn't discover it. He just saw it for the first time. So they misused the word discovery, and we thought that, oh, this guy is the one who discovered, but we were there. We took him. Our people, the people he found there, showed him that there is this river and it has these amazing falls.
I think that's our colonial legacy, isn't it? And that legacy, I'm not using that in a positive way. It's like we have this sense of the world is nothing until
you come and say it is
and
this.
Name it. And there's examples of that all over the world where things are named. Victoria Falls or things like this. It's kind
because
of,
Victoria. But do you know that Lake Victoria?
Right.
Our original name of Lake Victoria, which was given by one of our kings called Mpanga, he said this lake because of what happened when he first saw the lake. He went with some people. The story is he went with some people, and one of them was drowned.
Okay.
And because the person drowned, the story goes, the king revered, said this place is this water body is so strong, it's a god. So they gave it the name Nalubale, which means god of water.
Wow.
So it had a name. It had a name before it was given Lake Victoria. So, and it had a history. People used to fish there, and until the king went to see this massive water body, all the other people who used to go there used to go to collect water, to fish, to do what. But the king got interested in finding out, where do you get fish for me from? Where do you do this?
Okay.
So in that interest, he went and found out and saw this massive body. But his experience was informed by what happened on the day he was there, or one of the days he was there. Someone drowned, and the person drowned, they could not get the body out, they could not, so they gave it this name that represents the God of water. So for the longest time, even in our books, Luganda books, that is the name, the Nyanja Narubale. That is the name given. We have another lake called Choga. All the lakes have names. All the lakes, they have names, they have stories.
How does it feel when something like that is given another name? Do you,
it feels a bit. I don't. In my language, we have a word that is almost that almost relates to hubris.
Okay.
It sort of it sort of encompasses hubris, but also gives the person who thinks that their name is better. We put that person in a certain category.
Right.
The word puts them in a certain category and suggests that you have hubris, but you also have ignorance at the same time. Your hubris is informed by, that is the translation of the word we give. Hubris informed by ignorance. Because you've taken away all the things we knew, we had, and then you are saying to us that this is what it is.
Yeah.
So it is that sort of informs. The word has that two-sided prong. So it is, I wouldn't say hubris, but because it is hubris informed with ignorance.
Yes.
When we explain it, that is what it is. That is the word in. So I don't know the English word for that. I don't have an English word for that.
I'll think about that.
You have to. You have
it's
to.
important.
And that also brings me to that idea of a language. Whenever I encounter a new language, I find something that relates to the language I know, but expressed differently. And that is recurring in every language. Every language you will hear something that sort of refers, but it will always have some droppings of either history or the situation of what happened in order for the word to come. Or it has a history, it has a life from where it came from.
We're so interwoven like that.
For instance, we say in my language, God be with me, but I have to run. I cannot stop.
Okay.
So if you are in the forest and some an animal is running after you, you cannot just put your hands together and pray. You pray to God and you say, God be with me, but you also put run. That we say, God be with me, but I have to run and go away from. And that in my language is how most of the clans were formed.
Okay.
Our clans were formed from what happened to the head of the house. For instance, there are people in my clan, in my country, or in my country, whose totem, for every clan has a totem, whose totem is, say, those people don't eat, say, for instance, antelopes.
Right.
Because maybe one of their leaders or one of their kinsmen was killed by an antelope.
I see.
Or if it could be an elephant. We have clans of, we have totems of animals, we have totems of, we have even totems of vegetation. Like there's some people who don't eat a certain type of, or who don't go near to a certain type of grass, because one person went there and they passed, or they got this problem, and all the people in that family, the extended family, had to shun that. They say we don't, our totem doesn't allow us to touch it or do anything to it. And that is how some totems, they have, it's a lion, others it's hippopotamus, others, there is a story to why that is the totem of that clan. That's for all of them. But going back to language, it was always informed by what happened on the day, what happened at the time. That led to where it came from, and therefore it evolved. So when the colonialists came and said this is that, this is that, that is that, they took away
that ever evolving process of life.
So in other words, the history books were written from that time. However, several of our cultures were there, and we were already collecting information. So it was very easy for us to go and rebuild our own cultures, and write about them, and store and pass them on to. That's why in Uganda you will still find people who have clans. But when you go to, for instance, when a family comes here, someone brings up a family here, most of these things will die away, because in this culture, that is not done. That is, you don't keep on interacting with that. So either the parents have to make a choice to either go with this culture or take the child back to their culture and sort of teach them a little bit of both.
I wonder about your relationship to Plum Village. And if you could talk about that and how...
my relationship to Plum Village, it is the one place I've been fighting to go to, but I've not gone yet. The first time I got the opportunity to go to a retreat abroad. I had to first get all the opportunities that would have taken me to Plum Village. I wasn't able to travel because I wasn't allowed to travel at the time. And when the opportunity came, then there was other issues that happened, and I could not go. But we went to Germany, and I've met the Plum Village tradition. I've encountered and participated in the tradition,
the EIB.
In Germany, and I'm always looking forward to the day I actually experience Plum Village. And I know the day will come, of course, and I'm really looking forward to. However, you have given me most of the snippets around Plum Village. We've gone to Wake Up. We've gone to Pilgrims together. We've done. We've gone to. We went to the. What was it called? When we came from. When we came from. I don't remember when we came, and then went to somewhere in North London, and there was a team from Plum Village who came to do. Remember that time? When we came from the
that was, we did the pilgrimage in the park. I remember that was beautiful. The monastics.
The monastics. They were from Plum.
That's right. They would walk around.
We did activities with them.
That's right.
So the tradition is in my blood. I've just not connected to actually the physical place, but I have got all the aspects of it. So, and I'm looking forward to the day I actually physically go there.
You can go there.